things for you, loving on you. And it reminds people. It reminds, first it might irk them or, inspire them. But eventually it comes to a point where they're like, oh, they are just focused on them. And I am not focused on me. It's a huge mirror, okay? To the people that aren't focused on themselves, it's a huge mirror to them because they realize, oh, I'm giving all my attention to this and that. And that's why I don't have motivation because none of it is coming towards me. My own energy is not poured into me. It's poured into all these other cups, but not mine. And it causes them to reflect on where they're pouring their cups out and why they're not pouring into themselves. And those two things are incredible, okay? You've just brought these people into the most introspective space that they could possibly be, and it's so positive for them, right? It might be weird for them at first because they're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize that I was doing this. But, eventually when they get the hang of it, they're like, there's so much beauty to pouring into oneself. It is so impactful when you pour your own energy into you. And so this might be a call for you guys that, you keep doing what you're doing. It's working. It's powerful. You are inspiring other people, whether you see it or not. Okay. Because, I don't think a lot of people are going to come up to you and be like, watching you take care of yourself really inspired me to ask me why I wasn't taking care of myself. People aren't going to come up to you and do that. What is going to happen is that they are going to be much more receptive to things that you say in the future. They're going to be much more interested in the topics that you talk about, okay? Because they realize that the things that you're on are so you focused that it can only result in you getting better, right? It can only result in you lifting yourself up. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually a very beautiful thing. I think everyone should do that. I think that everyone should be able to lift themselves up. Okay, and not just through the darkest times, but through confusing times, through times of doubt, it's those little moments where you doubt yourself, where you catch it and you're like, wait a minute, that didn't come from me, that came from my past. That never came from me. I only agreed to it for a certain amount of time, but now I don't agree with it anymore. So I'm not going to take it anymore. I don't want it. It doesn't help. And so, even catching yourself like that when you're having a moment of doubt, it's powerful. It brings back that self-love, that control back to yourself. And there is a sweet spot between letting control go and having control over your reactions and the way you react towards your own thoughts. That is the deepest level of self-control ever. When you can mediate the thoughts in your own mind and not just use it to personify yourself, not to use it to be identifiers of who you are, that's when you're on the next round. You've graduated past this whole Nine of Swords energy where she's just kind of like, where it's depicted as like a person in bed and they're just going like, oh my God. And there's like ghosts and just like ephemeral people around her that aren't real. They're just thoughts. So it's you graduating from this Nine of Swords energy into just peace. Because when you can finally take the power away from that voice that isn't yours, by the way, that voice that is full of doubt, that is full of fears, okay, you can acknowledge it and be like, I hear you, and I know you're here to keep me safe and in my comfort zone, but right now I don't want to be in my comfort zone because I don't want that to be my comfort zone anymore. I want a new comfort zone where my thoughts and my voice and my inner voice are loving, are kind, are motivating, that can help me grow, right? Because yeah, just the way some people are brought up in this world, a lot of people choose tough love as a parenting style, right? And so they'll say really mean things as in a guise of loving their children, right? By saying the mean thing and thinking that that helps the child. But in reality, it becomes a voice. It becomes this voice that comes out in a haunting way later on in their lives. And that's why I'm saying that voice isn't necessarily yours. I'm seeing that it actually came from the guardians, from your guardians, okay? Whether they be parents or just general guardians, they exercise tough love on you as a kid, and it didn't help as much as they thought it would. Okay, maybe it toughened you from the outside, and so they're like, we did our job. Look at them. They're great. They're doing wonderful. You know? But internally it's suffering. It's mean words coming back at you in the most in your most sensitive times. Okay? Cuz they probably gave you this lesson of tough love in a time where you just needed tender love and care, where you just needed to be held and needed to be told that you were okay, that everything is okay, that you don't need to be something you're not. You're okay where you are. It's okay. You know, something like that would have been much more helpful than you're too sensitive. Okay, this might be triggering, but you know, it's words like you're too this, you're too that, you need to change this because people are gonna see you as this. You know, it's not helpful. It just makes you more aware of judgment. It's not actually it's just not helpful. It was crucial in that time that you received love and you didn't. And your guardians thought they were doing the right thing by not pandering or not taking care of you when you were feeling sensitive. They thought that in their mind, you know, probably because of their upbringing, they're probably like, no, you can't be that sensitive. In this world, absolutely not. You're going to get run over if you're this sensitive. Instead of just being like, you're my child and you're showing your vulnerability. Let me take care of you because that's what I'm here to do. Instead of that, they were like, the world is not going to look at you kindly when you act in that way. It's like, I don't need the world to look at me kindly. I need you to look at me kindly. I need you to show me kindness. I don't care about the world. I want my parent, I want my guardian to show me kindness. And that is a fair thing, right? I think we all wanted that as a kid. And some of us got the kindness and some of us didn't. And for those that didn't, it can really manifest in our inner speech, in the way we talk about ourselves, in the way we judge others. Okay, that's how you can really tell when you're not in a self-defeating mode. If you have issues with being sensitive, if you have issues with being vulnerable, and you don't know where those voices come in, like you just aren't at that level yet, it's okay. The first thing you can do is look at where you're judging other people. What are you saying about those people? And are those statements coming from how you truly feel about them? Or is it from you thinking that the world would not accept that and that's why it's not okay? You know, it's stuff like that where it's just having a moment of thought of where did that come from? Where did that statement even come from? Because, and even if it is from you, it's something that society has put in you, right? So even then, it's still helpful to kind of retrace where those judgments come from, where those words come from, and realize that you can actually wipe that all clean, that you can actually approach situations with openness and sensitivity in mind, right? Because each one of us, I think the reason why, sorry, I had to burp. I think the reason why a lot of us are too afraid to be vulnerable, too afraid to be sensitive, is because of the way that society has deemed sensitivity and vulnerability. They have deemed it as a weakness. They have deemed it as something that will cause people to fall, will cause people to have a weakness of some kind. And I think that association needs to be broken. I think that kind of association needs to be questioned and thought about again, because I don't think that's necessarily true. I don't think sensitivity is a weakness, because I think stoicness, and I think avoidance, and I think numbing and dissociating is a weakness. It's a form of escapism, right? And when you're escaping, it's because you don't have the strength to really bring forth those emotions and face it. But sensitive people, they can face it. They do face it on a daily basis, and that's why their heart is light, because they have faced those hard truths about themselves and about their life and upbringing and whatever, and they have formed almost an alliance with it. They have formed a narrative that helps them through these emotions, rather than the way society deals with it, which is just passive, which is just let time deal with it, which is carry on, just move on, don't worry about it, it'll go away, or just move on to the next person, because the problem is with them, not you. The problem is them, not you. Right? And I think my channel in tarot, it kind of falls into that mode, kind of, but I think it's because our initial reaction is, oh my gosh, what did I do? Was this me? Right? And then you come to my tarot readings and I'm like, actually, there's a lot more to it than just you. Right? But in most instances, there is a moment where people just are supposed to be like, oh, what did I do? Could I have done something wrong? And they immediately jump into, no, it was them. They are the issue. Throw them aside and the issue will be gone. And I think that is the weakest form of dealing with oneself. And that's why relationships are failing. And, relationships with oneself is failing. It's weakened to a point where dissociating, where avoidance is a more natural reaction than to actively be apologetic, even. To this point, I don't know if people, I think people just apologize less and less and less, and they just would rather not. They would just rather move on with their lives. It's a very avoidant way of living that society is in right now. It's kind of weird. Rather than trying to save connections, they'd rather just burn the bridge and move forward, right? Like in this community, I think we talk a lot about burning bridges and moving forward, because we tried for some of us years, okay, with these connections that I'm talking about. These aren't just silly little tiffs that we're just like, no, we're not going to apologize. We're going to move on because they're this and that and the third. No, we don't do that here. What we do is we try to rectify the situation. We try to keep peace. We try to come in with understanding and grace. And, usually, at least with what I've picked up so far from this community, people have not treated that grace with respect or anything. They just saw it as you being weak, you being dumb, that you would even entertain this kind of situation, but you saw the light in them. And even when they couldn't even see it in themselves, you saw the light in them and you really tried. And for other people, they just don't try. They don't try anymore. And they try for all the wrong reasons. And that's why people are burnt. And that's why relationships are kind of thin. Not very... There's no foundation to a lot of relationships these days. And I think it's because we're all so in a self-preservation mode that causes us to be dismissive, causes us to be avoidant. And I think a lot of this can be rectified by at least not being avoidant with oneself, at least not dismissing oneself, and not labeling one as weak when you're showing yourself sensitivity, when you're showing at least yourself, right, vulnerability. You shouldn't be afraid of being seen as someone weak. Destroy that association, okay? I want that association to be completely dismantled. Okay? And I think you guys want the same thing. I think that's why I'm talking about it. I'm just on a freaking soapbox or something. No, it's your guides. They really want you to know that. Okay, I'm not just talking out of my booty. Okay, so you guys got wise one, grow within your current situation. Arrow, surround yourself with protective energy, which is what we totally did in this reading. And then autumn, release the old and rest. So like I said earlier, you may be finding it kind of difficult to rest. You don't want to because you're not comfortable in the situation you're in. And you want to make changes. You want to just, I think what you want is to completely clear out the energy field around you, quiet the noise, quiet the opinions, quiet the voices, so that you can come back into your own wisdom, right? With the wise one, the crone. Grow within your current situation. This is a situation that has come up before, at least 10 times. Okay, this is a long cycle that you're being faced with in this moment. And that's why your spirit guides are saying, see the situation for what it is, but don't react. See it for what it is and protect yourself. Work on your own energy field. Cleanse out your energy like we did earlier, and put a protective layer over it. Okay? Protect yourself in this time. You are precious. You deserve to be protected in this time. Don't allow people to say hurtful words. Don't allow them to project onto you, because let me remind you, you are a beautiful, beautiful soul. You are a beautiful human being and a beautiful soul. You deserve to be protected. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to be seen for who you are. You deserve kindness in your interactions, no matter who they are. And you deserve respect. And you deserve rest. Okay? And release the old and rest with the autumn card. It's telling you that you are allowed to rest. Okay? Maybe people are trying to disrupt your peace because they want in. They want to find you at a vulnerable moment again so that they can kind of latch onto you again. That's what I'm seeing. It's kind of gross in my mind. I don't know if I should tell you guys, but the vision I'm having is like an open wound and then someone coming in with a hook so that they can hook into that flesh. Okay, because they want that wound right open. They want the protective force around you wide open so that they can hook you right back in. So don't let them. Focus on your rest, focus on your peace, focus on your protection. Okay? There's a lot of ridiculousness going around in the spiritual community with things such as destiny swapping, which is complete BS to me. That's just how I feel. Twin flame energy, which can also be quite a hook if the two parties are not ready, which they are not right now. I don't think a lot of divine counterparts are ready to meet. Even if they feel ready, the energy is not there. And the energy is actually quite disruptive right now. And I think there's a lot of darker witches, darker entities that wish to kind of hook people back in, because it is true that we as a society are becoming much more enlightened and lighter in energy, right? And so darker entities that thrive in that dark lower vibration cannot hook onto, because it doesn't attach, right? It doesn't attach to that kind of thing. So they need you to be vibrating at the same vibration as them in order for it to be a match, in order for you to for them to hook onto you again. But because society as a whole is kind of elevating, they're having a hard time, and so they're kind of revving up. And I think that's why in the last reading I was like, they're taking their masks off. They're not even trying to portray themselves as a good person anymore. They are legitimately just outright saying that I am not a good person, and I don't want you to elevate. I don't want you to get better. It's that kind of energy. And I think that's why I'm being called to come on here to kind of mitigate the energetic flow going around in the spiritual community, because it's truly masks are off right now on both ends. I think light workers have completely unmasked, and I think dark workers have completely unmasked as well. And there's like this kind of energetic battle of who's going to win over the general society, the community, right? For a while, I think the idea of twin flame really, really blew up, okay? And there was a good reason for that. It's because there is divine unions. They were meant to meet each other, but to completely stay hooked onto one another when you guys aren't ready for each other, it causes that love to diminish. It causes that love to feel tarnished, right? And so without that hope of divine union, it can cause people to give up hope in general, right? Because I think a lot of light workers, we work with the energy of love, and when love isn't there, it hurts almost at a spiritual level. And so for light workers, you guys, it's really important to detach away from that storyline, at least for now, okay? You don't need to make sense of it. You don't need to come to any conclusion. You don't need to make a decision. You can just leave it be. You can just let it exist in where it is right now and not force anything to come about it. And be okay with the fact that it's not here yet, if it's not here for you. And if it is here for you, revel in it. Love it. Be in it. Know that you are perfectly aligned in this moment for it, right? So in this moment, just rest, protect your energy. There's a lot of weird things going on in the spiritual community. But as long as you don't put your energy into it and you don't necessarily believe in it, if you don't want to, you don't have to, right? A belief is a belief. It's simply just a belief. It's a hypothesis. Does it have to be evolved into a full-blown experiment? No. It can just stay a hypothesis. You don't have to do anything with it. Okay? And yeah. And the reason why I don't believe in destiny swapping is because we're here to encode our own destinies. And just because someone can peep into someone's destiny doesn't necessarily mean they have the keys in order to be that person. There may be instances where, I don't know, Chinese dramas love this trope. Okay, this is totally a drama thing. And I just don't believe in it. I think everybody's destiny is their own, and there's no freaking way that anyone else can do what you're meant to do with it. That's the truth. That's why the trials that you go through, they are meant for you alone and you only, no one else. And if people try to destiny swap, it's as if they're asking for your trials to to become who you are. Because the first thing that destiny swapper needs to do is to become you. And that's not possible. Because you are you. You are beautifully encoded in your own sacred your sacred imprint. Okay, that is yours and yours alone. There's no person out there that can peep into your future and be like, no, that's mine now. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And if you want to try, you're not going to get the same result. You cannot get the same result as someone else. Even if the path is paved, even if you get all their secrets, you get all of their knowledge, you get all of their techniques, you can't do it the way they do it, because that's their destiny. That's theirs. You can't touch it. And that's why I think destiny swapping is absolute BS. I don't believe in it at all, because not one person can be another. It's just not possible. We are all encoded for our own sacred and destined path. And if you try to copy another person, you will never have the same results, because it's not meant for you. That's their path. It's not yours. And no amount of magic can take that away, because it goes beyond magic. It's imprint. It's soul imprint. It's something that cannot be faked through magic. So I'll leave it there, guys. Thank you for stopping by. Like the video if you liked the reading. Subscribe to the channel if you want to join the community, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.